Yeah! What's up, chosen ones? How we doing, you guys? It is Monday. It is 2:52 in the afternoon. And it's June 10th. You guys, we're gonna talk about such cool things today. So I was like kind of awake for some reason at like 3 or like midnight, and then like 3 again, and then like 4 a.m.-ish again. But I kept getting this idea in my mind. I kept seeing it over, and I was like gonna write it down. And then like I was like, this feels like such a weird thing to receive. Like this doesn't make any sense. But basically it was the title for the video. That's what I was like getting at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And so the title of today's video, without further ado, is Men Are Allergic to Women's Emotions. I literally feel like that was God's idea. I really hope that I'm doing this right, but I tried to listen all day to make sure that I'm giving the right word, and like that is what I heard. But whom shall I fear if God is with me? And so nobody. And so I do believe that he wants me to talk about gender politics, and so we're going to talk about, you know, the nitty-gritty of like relationships, and maybe not like all the nitty-gritty, but you know, about like modern day dating and relationships and marriages, because I think what is going on is like a lot of frustration and like misunderstandings and disappointments and unclear expectations when a man and a woman get together. And I think it's like a crazy, beautiful thing to discuss and try and understand more of. Love is a battlefield. It truly is. So, yeah, I hope you had a great weekend, and this is the message today. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Welcome to my channel. My name is Kimberly Ponce. Thanks for joining and hanging and rocking with ya girl. Who am I? I'm a wild card gal from the West Coast who moved to New York about 2 years ago, a little under 2 years now, for performance arts. I want to take a stab at, I have been taking a stab at making that happen, and producing and self-releasing material or creating music, mostly spreading smiles and laughter is what I'm after. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. So I'm your show business woman. I'm here for showbiz, and I have a passion for it, unlike any other mother out here. So without further ado, let's get into the word. You guys, there's a lot of frustration about gender roles and who should fulfill them, and then should they not be fulfilled. What's a positive way to execute this relationship in a successful manner? Well, the man should be taking his roles and fulfilling them, and the woman should be taking her roles and fulfilling hers. Okay, yeah. So this isn't something that is brand new to the table. This has been in the pipeline of discussion, I feel like, for most peeps for, I don't know, the last decade or so. And so let's see what God has to say about all this. I like Genesis 1:27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created. So, you see how in the text it's like referring to, his own image. So he created men in his image, and he created and women in his image. And it's referring to how we're made separately, and both created in his image. And I'll draw that to my last point in the end, which is about how it's not even actually about male or female. It's about fearing God in order to do what we're supposed to do on this earth. Like, it's so we get all caught up, and so I kind of just like, spoiler alert of like what the main message is of the video. It's fine. I'm rolling with the punches. So essentially, now that you're in on what it is I'm really trying to drill home is like, we get caught up in it being about man and woman, and okay, you're gonna bring home the paycheck and I'll be the one with the toilet scrubber in my hand, right? And it's just expected that that's man and then that's woman, and why would you ever reverse them? So if we don't get caught up in about that, and we focus instead on God and having a healthy fear of God, then we end up serving the man or woman we're meant to be with kind of selflessly and effortlessly. It's Satan and the enemy that does his best to embroil men and women in marriages and families into battling with each other based off of what the world expects. And that's how the enemy comes to seek, kill, and destroy. And so I'm trying to stay on track, but I have like 5 thoughts coming at me at once. I get so excited to do these videos, you guys. Like literally like 2 hours up until I like sit down and actually film, I'm like brimming with like a wellspring of creativity and ideas and just like energy and excitement for having a platform and really finding my momentum and traction with it as of late. So you guys, we don't want to get caught up in we don't want to take the bait that the enemy is so often giving us, which is like, be upset at your man for not being home on time, and then like get up in arms over your lady when like whatever men expect. I don't know, whatever men want. When a man, okay, let's just go like simple. I don't need to like draw examples. When a man doesn't feel respected, like and things like that. So there will be plots and schemes from the enemy that will try and get two people that are meant to be together to see each other as the enemy, which is sad. Unless they're not really supposed to be together or whatever. But there are times, and more often than not, in kingdom marriages and unions that are ordained by God, where like literally everyone and their cousin is basically working against that union because of how powerful it will be and bring so many people to God. And that would be an example of when the enemy is plotting and scheming on how to keep those two people apart, keep them seeing each other as the villain or the enemy or whatever. And a lot of the times there will be behind the doors, like behind the scenes, a lot of witchcraft and black magic going on to keep each other apart. And oh gosh, I'm getting like so many ideas. It's uncomfortable. I'm just gonna go with this right now before I forget it. So you guys know how in our last video that we were talking about the illusion of reality, and I was thinking about how in some of my dreams I feel like what is happening is real life, and then when I wake up I'm like, oh, that felt so real. So I like wanted to like entertain an argument right quick that was like, what if our dream is the real life and then this right now is the dream? And it's like simulation of YouTube and like views and like what is even really real, what is really in front of me, because who's to say that like that's not the actual timeline and this is the alternate timeline? Who's to say? Like it's just interesting to think about. And so maybe a thing to consider too in tying it back into this video is that like there is expected warfare while we sleep, especially when you're on your way up and on the path that God has laid out for you. You're going to experience so much resistance and warfare and attacks in the flesh and in the spirit realm. It almost seems like you can't even catch a break, and really, truth be told, you're not going to catch a break until you're like dead, really. You're always, if you're like truly true for God, you're going to have a lot of moments of attempted take the bait moments, because Satan hates it when we get more and more aligned with God. And so Satan will try and use discouragement as a way to keep us from getting closer to God, and a way to take away our love and compassion and light that God instills in us. And Satan will use, like I said, discouragement in our lives to get us to think that God doesn't want what's best for us. But really, God was the one warning us all along adequately, and we thought in the moment, oh, what's the worst that could happen? And went ahead with our own self-will and our own free will, until it turns out something happens, and then you see why you were warned. And these are the moments that create or break somebody. It can either destroy you, or it can either literally, like I said, make you, And that's like when you say, okay, I can take a self-accountability and learn from this, or I will turn cold-hearted and bitter, and I guess I've done enough good things up until this point that I don't really deserve to continue to try and be, looking for love, or looking for like happiest versions of myself, or like, I guess I don't really need to like even try to be better. Like you just get to this point where it's like it could break you. Like the discouragement that you're experiencing could break you. And you see people. Okay, so I guess I'm tangenting a little bit, but it's like I want to include all these points because I thought about a lot of things all weekend, and I want to make sure that I'm channeling everything and sharing with you guys. So the other thing I was realizing too is like I kind of was watching some shows this weekend, and I truly had like one of the best Sundays I've ever had in my entire life yesterday. And it was just like a normal Sunday. But it wasn't. It was like so blessed. It was so blessed, and God helped out. And I'll tie that into this story today too in just a second. So this weekend I was watching shows, and some of the shows I enjoy watching are like the haunted house or whatever, like a haunting in Connecticut or whatever. And there was like this story about an artist who'd starved themselves and got really, really depressed and discouraged by his gallery. Not the critics, tore him apart over his recent gallery. He worked day and night and showed his best work, and they tore him apart. No one bought one painting. There wasn't one painting purchased. He spent more capital than he had made, and then it shows him sitting in his flat and like a loft in Chelsea, and by society's measures he's successful still, but he wasn't where he thought he should be, and he starved himself because he thought he didn't matter. And you know what ended up happening? Every single painting was purchased after he died. So this is a literally illustrative example of how the enemy will use discouragement as a way to convince individuals on earth that means X, Y, and Z. That means finality, but really everything is temporary and fleeting except for God's eternal love. And then if we have God, then whom shall we fear? And like love is like the most powerful force in the universe. So if we always have that in our hearts, then like we literally have nothing ever to fear. So you see how the enemy can use discouragement as a way to convince an individual that it's not worth continuing on, or it's not worth trying to continue to be what it is you love to be, which in this guy's case, it was an artist. He definitely had a different style, I suppose. I didn't see any of the work, but that's what it was alluding to. It wasn't popular in his time. Do you know how many people made it bigger later on, posthumously awarded after their death, and then they were like huge when they were in the ground? Some people live here on earth and live their entire life believing in their work, never making it, and then get put into earth and respectfully and peacefully rest in peace. Meanwhile, their estate and lucrativity and profit is doing better than it ever had in their entire entire life of being actually awake and being actually alive, is what I mean. So you see how everything's like seriously perspective, and we just can't let the illusion of discouragement create actions, let that determine our actions moving forward in life. And so a little bit of yesterday about why yesterday was like awesome is because I was on my way to go do laundry, and I woke up really early out of anxiety. I don't know if that's ever happened to you guys. Like you want to keep sleeping, but you're just like wired with like anxiety, like 6 a.m., 5 a.m. And I kind of just like got the coffee going, and no, I didn't get coffee going because there was like dishes, and that was making it a little bit extra harder. But then I got like the laundry going to get it ready to go, and then I was like, let me just get up and get out the door and get a cup of coffee, and everything will be better. And I like got the laundry, and I was like, let me just do a load of laundry, and I was like making my coffee, and I just felt like I was dying on the inside. I felt like weight and heaviness. And then one of my neighbors was like on the outside of the bodega, and he was like, hey, how are you doing? And then I was like, I'm not doing well, actually. Like, and then I like brought my coffee out, and we just like started talking, and then I kind of was like being, open and real about what I'm experiencing. And he showed me a lot of compassion and support in a time that it was just, he was just didn't need to spend time, didn't need to sow a listening ear, but did. And we were discussing a little bit about how it's different for women than it is for men, and then he even offered to pay for my laundry, and then like carried my laundry, like the cart, like the big heavy cart, and like carried that for me, and then walked me to the laundromat. And I said, well, let me ask you then, so do you think that we can learn still from success? Because why does it seem like we learn so much more from mistakes? And I kind of was like, leveling with him about what's been going on, and he was like, well, for women, like it's harder. And then I kind of looked at him, and I was like, yeah, but men, you guys have to like provide. Like that's a lot. That's everything. That's literally like you have to provide as a man. Like that's, to me, that's crazy to think that that if that's something that was expected out of me, I would be stressed out all the time and probably like not that happy. Or I'd probably just be like, I'd feel a lot of like responsibility on my shoulders, and like that's a lot. And so I was like trying to level with him, and he was trying to level with me, and then there's just kind of a beautiful moment of like him being like, oh, it's really hard to be a woman because you have to look out for predators, and you don't know if like another person is like going to like seriously harm you, and you're kind of like in danger a lot more when you're alone and vulnerable, and like being a woman, like you're not as physically as strong as man, and not because like X, Y, and Z, but because we're made differently. And then we were just like having this like awesome gender politics talk on like early Sunday morning on the way to the laundromat. And it's not something that's ever not felt by each man and woman, like this tension. And so it's just always a ripe topic, and I love talking about it. So thanks for being here. We're gonna wrap up today's video in like pretty much right quick, but let's finish off here with Ephesians 5:22. It says, Ephesians 5:22, wives, be subject to your husbands as to the Lord. And so you see how it's legit, it's always brought back to God. I like here how it says as well in Ephesians 5:21, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. And then this one really just like drills home the point that I'm really hoping to illustrate today, which is Galatians 3:28. There is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free, there is neither male or female, for ye are all in one. I was really like excited to say that. Okay, so there is neither bond nor free, nor is either male. You know what? It's cool. Okay. Galatians 3:28. There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male or female, for ye are all one in Christ Jesus. I love that, you guys, because, I mean, what a great way to just take the load off, take the burden off. We don't need to worry about, any of the stuff that they got us worried about nowadays, which is kind of like proving to everyone that you're happy or whatever, or being competitive with male or female, and who can do more of the roles but still be happy and like look carefree at the same time. Like whatever it is, like we're the happy couple. Like whenever people see us, they know that we're like the good couple. Like whatever it is that like relationships are struggling with nowadays, like social media and pressure and stuff like that too, is like kind of aggravating all of it. But what a nice weight off our shoulders when we get to read this part. For ye are all one in Christ Jesus. Neither is there bond nor free, neither is there male nor female, for ye are all one in Christ Jesus. So that just brings us right to, you know, what we're trying to focus on, which is being lights and vessels for God. And then we'll finish off with this because it's just awesome. Genesis 1:28. So God created man. This is like, I'm so excited to share this one. I'm getting all excited, but because it like says everything so perfectly. Genesis 1:28. They were given equal tasks of ruling and subduing all creatures. So just because one man is expected to do X, Y, and Z, and then a woman is expected to do X, Y, and Z, cook, clean, keep the kids straight, he goes to work, he brings home 2, 3, 4 paychecks, however, whatever, providing and taking care of the bills, and separate tasks but equal tasks to subdue all creatures. So we need each other. That's the other point of the matter is, you know, we do need each other. We do. Men and women, you know, we're better and stronger together. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created. That is so beautiful. Okay, you guys, I hope that today's message was, informative, entertaining, educational, comforting, and I pray that that this guides you in your day-to-day in any way, and that you continue to be well, live well, and love well. Thanks for like hanging out and rocking with me, and stay tuned for more awesome content. You know, it's coming down the pipeline this week. I guess, again, just like the last recapture of today's video, it's not about man or woman, and who's stronger, who's weaker, who has more roles to fulfill, whose roles are really more fulfilling to fulfill, how many roles of his can I do, how many roles of my own can I do but still feel like a woman, and vice versa, how many female roles can I fill but still be a man. And like, let's just not even like freak out about that anymore. Let's literally just remember that we have equal tasks with different set of skills that God gives each and every person. And it's not about male or female, it's about us all being created in Christ Jesus and in his images. So God has feminine and masculine balances, so he created in his image different versions of him, and that's us. So we don't need to fight about the differences. Let's just be us and love one each other and like live in this life in fear of God. And when we're doing that, men and women will just get along and we'll be there for each other, and we need each other. Oh, okay. I love that, you guys. Thanks so much for hanging and rocking. Yeah, stay tuned for more awesome content. You know what comes next. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay chosen.